Hi guys, Penny Rose Journals, how you doing? Okay, we are here today with our little exposed spine journal and we are going to sew our signatures in. This is a piece of paper I have pre-cut. It is just a piece of scrap paper. It is the exact size of my spine here on the inside. Now, taking care to make it the inside of your spine, not the outside of your spine, so your pages will close nicely around it like I just showed you there. I'm going to put all these in here, and this is what I'm going to use to do it. So this is just a template that I am going to build. So I have this mat. You can use your desk mat, you can just use a ruler, but I just like using this mat because it's the one that I also punch holes in my signatures with. If I turn it over, it's a soft foam back. So I am just going to measure for 4 signatures. So I'm going to measure 4 places along the top and bottom of this piece of paper. And I'm going to measure 3 places along the side. Now I'm then going to draw lines, and that will give me 3 whole pamphlet stitch holes in 4 signatures. So you'll see what I mean as soon as I've drawn the lines. Where the lines intersect is where the holes are going to go. Okay, I am grabbing some clamps because this is a tutorial. If you've seen me on this channel before, you know that I don't always clamp my signatures when I'm just doing a little book like this. But today I'm going to, because it's the right way to do it. It's stupid not to use clamps. Yeah, your pages get misaligned and all sorts of silly things. So why make things harder for yourself than you need to? So I'm clamping this little template to my spine, and we're going to punch some holes into the spine. Now, I did this and then realized I had not done one step that I really do like to do with my journals. I had not covered the spine. I like to cover my spines with fabric. It just gives them a bit of a more of a finish, and also stops any cracking of your paper if you've covered them in paper around the spine area being visible. So I will do that after I've punched the holes in it, and then just poke the holes through the fabric. It's not a big deal, but something to keep in mind. If you want to put fabric on your spine, you might as well do it first. So now I am just punching holes in my signatures, which is just lining up this same template into the spine of the signature and punching a hole in the 3 places where those lines are lined up on the edges. So I'm going to do that with all of them, and then we'll get back to covering that spine with a piece of fabric. This is a piece of batch dyed denim shirt. I am just using a little bit of fabric glue or acetone based glue to stick it to the spine. So I will stick it straight to the spine area, and then I will make sure the sides are stuck down and the ends are stuck down. And yeah, then I'll just flip it over and I'll punch those holes that are already in the spine straight through that fabric, just so that it's easy to see them from the other side, so that I can sew in these signatures. And then we're done. We're ready to start to sew. Okay, to sew in these signatures you will need a needle, preferably a blunt nose needle with a big eye in it, and some string. I'm using some crochet thread, and I like to make my pieces of string 3 times the length of the spine that I am sewing in. And I am just cutting 4 pieces. So I'm just measuring them against each other and cutting them all at once. So that's what we're going to use. The big eye in the needle is to fit the crochet thread through. The blunt end is so that you don't get stuck up against anything. If you have a pointy end needle, it makes this so much more difficult. So a tapestry needle is ideal. Now this is how I like to sew in a signature. This is not the be all end all. This is just how I do it. I like to go from the outside of the book. A lot of people like to go from the inside outwards so they can tie off their signatures in the middle of their signature. I like mine hanging on the outside. I just think it's quite decorative. So I go from the back of the spine into the middle hole, and then I go from the middle hole to the bottom of the signature, and then I go back outside the spine and I run my string all the way up the outside of the spine to the top hole, come back in, and then come back out through the middle hole of the signature to the back there and just tie it off. It's as simple as that. One thing you do have to be conscious of is making sure you pull your strings nice and tight. Now, you will probably break your thread at some point. I do it still all the time, and I've been doing this for years and years. Especially when I get new thread, you just never know quite what the tensile strength is, so you give it a good pull and you snap your thread, and it's a big nuisance because you have to start all over again. But it is really important to get those strings really pulled through and really tight so that your signatures aren't loose and floppy. So it's just something you get a feel for when you have a new ball of string. Like I say, it happens, but you find that after making a few journals, yeah, you get used to the tensile strength of your string, and you no longer have that problem until it's time to start a new ball of string again. So anyway, I am going to sew all these in one by one. I will leave all of this footage in so you can see it. Now, please keep in mind that this is all done in double time. This whole video, the raw footage, was about 38 minutes. Yeah, we've cut this video down quite considerably by speeding it up to double time and cutting out all those times where you get up from your desk and go and do something else. So, yeah, it's not as fast as it appears. I like to knot my string off at the back there 3 times. It's up to you how many times you're comfortable with. You can do it twice, you can do it 18 times if you want. You can dangle little beads from these when they're hanging on the outside as well. You can do whatever you like with these strings. You could cut them all off, so they're not hanging there, but just don't cut the signature strings, else your signature will fall out. But you can cut off the dangly ends. So it's up to you. Or you can, like I say, sew in from the other side and sew from the inside out, and then you can just knot off your strings in the middle of your signature and trim them, and they're less obvious that way. I just kind of like the obvious. Also, to point out the maybe not quite so obvious, you need these strings to end up on either side of that back string so that you can tie them over the top of it. That's what secures everything in nice and tightly. Else, if you knot it off, it might slip through and you're in a bit of trouble. But in any case, there we go. There's our 4 signatures sewn in. It's as quick as that. So, we have completed a journal essentially. Just to use up a bit more time, I am going to make a little book plate for it, or a decoration for the front of the book. I don't know, we call it a book plate. It's not really a book plate. A book plate is usually, the name or a title or something of the book. This is just a decorative piece on the outside. I am just going to use scraps from my scrap drawer and stuff that's on the desk next to me and just decorate this up a bit, just so it's not quite so plain, because, well, it is just a piece of brown paper at the moment, and I just wanted to jazz it up a little. How cute is this little heart tag? It was a tag off a pair of shoes I bought recently. A pair of sand shoes. Very cute. I'm just going to staple those all together and then just glue it to the front of the book. As simple as that. It's just something a little bit decorative to have on the outside of the book. So, yay for scraps. Anyway, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this little video, this little tutorial. I don't often do actual tutorials, but I really wanted people to know how to do this and how to just use up junk that's lying around and make themselves something beautiful and useful. So I am very appreciative of your spending your time with me. I thank you very much for taking time out of your busy day to hang out with me. I really do appreciate it. And I hope you have yourselves a lovely day. I'll see you again next time. Bye.